Welcome back to Markets Today. It's a Wednesday, it's all about what's happening in technology. Today we want to take a look at some of the technology trends that 2021 portends and what should you bear in mind, at least as we're thinking about the year ahead. In studio, we are joined by Jacqueline Kiplagat, who is a systems developer at eKral Innovation. Jacqueline, a very warm welcome to you to our show here, Markets Today.
Thank you very much.
Give us a brief overview of who you are, what do you do in technology?
My name is Jacqueline Kiplagat. As you've heard, I work for eKral Innovation Hub as a systems developer. I also volunteer at Kamilimu,
Okay.
which is an organization that deals with mentorship of campus students.
Okay.
So that is what I do majorly. So I'm working at eKral and also trying to mentor a bit of some of the students who are still in campus.
Okay.
Yes.
I know technology it's a broad topic to talk about, but from where you sit, when you're thinking about 2021 and also recapping 2020, what are some of the broad theses or theories that stand out for you when it comes to technology? Where were we? Where are we going?
I think first it will be important to note that 2020 was actually a tough year for most of the people, and I think also in terms of the business community. So I think what we actually saw in 2020 is we actually saw majority of the people who are in business now shift to actually understand how technology works. So we actually saw people move into getting, for the ones who didn't have, let's say, a website, actually were actually going to actually get one because now people were actually working from the houses.
Okay.
And then we also noticed that the employees were actually working from home. So now that meant that if you didn't have any internet services, you now had to look for one.
Okay.
Which then, I also think that will also still move into 2021 and even as we progress, because now employers are now able to see that it's also possible for people to work from home.
Okay.
And then maybe also just have few meetings here and there that are physical.
All right.
And so for some of the trends that I actually see that could actually be now working and some of the tips that we actually need to, or even the emerging technologies that are coming around.
Yes.
I think there's one that is really standing out for me, which is Internet of Things. Internet of Things now then involved where we actually have most of the physical devices now being connected to the internet.
Okay.
I think we've seen in the developed countries, if you have a fridge, it's actually connected to the internet. And when maybe your stock is now sort of going down, you actually get a message that restock.
You need to restock.
Yeah, you need to restock.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So I think that is where we are
That's
actually
where we are
headed.
at.
Yes.
Okay, so we are coming from a space of automation of businesses and also productivity. Those are some of the key things that businesses, or at least small businesses, were trying to get their heads around. Now we've come to a post-COVID era and we're sort of going back now to a new normal, so to speak, but there's traffic on the road, people are going back to offices. Is this a trend that continues? Do people then continue to reach out for people such as yourself, skills such as yourself in terms of system development? Are those more conversations that you're hearing in the spaces that you sit in?
Yes.
Okay.
Because in as much as we are having now people going back to their offices, we still have companies that are still having people working from home. And so for that then, you actually realize that companies need to actually sort of also invest in what we call the video conferencing facilities to be able to actually enhance that. You actually see most people now then using Zoom for their meetings and such things.
Yes.
So I think even as we move ahead, that will be the conversation that will always be there, because now in as much as this is our new normal, there are things that definitely will change.
Okay.
We will not have normal things the way we actually understand before.
All right.
Yeah.
So there's an element of change there.
Yes.
So let me come back to what you do, and you're in the space of systems development, and you're also in the space of mentoring women. Maybe you can talk to us about the mentorship and the mentorship when it comes to the STEM spaces, and has the thought process changed in terms of what people who are being mentored absolutely need to know if they're going to be relevant in the current marketplace?
Thank you. One of the challenges that I actually noticed, because I was in a class of about 18.
Yes.
and when I was graduating.
Okay.
And we were actually 3 ladies in that class. So I think from that point, then I actually then realized that then we actually have sort of fewer ladies in the market, and especially in the STEM market. So what the mentorship then comes to do, which is now Kamilimu, is we actually get a number of students from campus who are actually pursuing the STEM courses.
Yes.
And from that, they're actually assigned professional mentors. So you will have students who are actually interested in, let's say, web development. Some are interested in data science. Some are interested in the emerging technologies, IoT, artificial intelligence, machine learning, cyber security. So what happens is the founders saw the need to be able to bridge that gap, yeah?
Yes.
And for the students to be able to understand how important acquiring the practical skills is, and just not the theory part of it.
Okay.
And so that is how then Kamilimu comes in play. So we have sessions where we take the students through, they actually have assignments, they actually then do projects that then the professional mentors go through with them, and they are able to advise them on the ways to which they're able to improve their skills.
Okay.
So I think that then that answers the question as to how we are able to bridge what we learn in class and now the practical bit of it. So that now when we have the students actually get to graduating, they actually have the practical skills, which I think is really a good plus.
All right.
Yes.
So in that space, when you are connecting the students to the mentors, are there specific skills that the mentors will sort of say, this is needed, and has that conversation changed from what was needed last year to what is actually needed this year?
I think what is actually standing out is the importance of having soft skills.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for most engineers, and I think they would agree with me, that I think we sometimes have challenges with the soft skills.
Yes.
And also in Kamilimu, in the mentorship program, we also have space for that. So it's just not about being taught about maybe configuring a network or how to be able to know when there's a malware attack somewhere or how to develop a website. It goes beyond that. So you get to the point where you actually tell your students, this is how you're supposed to have your CV look like. This is the process of actually trying to get a job, you know, the whole process of it. So I think for me, one of the key things that then stands out is the importance of having soft skills, which is key.
Which is key.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So now when we come back to just looking at 2020 and also now trying to evaluate 2021, some of the things that have also come out are elements of 5G networks, and we're currently on 3G, building up on 4G. How does that look like from where you stand? So 5G opportunities, are we there? Are we still yet to explore older technologies before we get there? What's your perspective on that?
I know a number of countries that have actually rolled out the 5G, and actually 5G will actually come with increased data speeds, which is key actually for businesses, because I think then you would actually want your customers to be able to access something in the very shortest time possible. And that also ensures that you have more devices connecting into the internet, because now there'll be reliability, there'll be availability of it. So for 5G, we're talking about speeds of about 20 gigabits per second.
Okay.
So you can imagine if you were to download a movie, actually takes actually seconds or even milliseconds to go. Yes.
Okay.
So I think there are actually opportunities in that. Of course, I know there've been concerns about the health effects of 5G and stuff like that. But from where I stand, I think there's been no scientific evidence to actually prove,
you know, that there's something that's amiss.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. And what about expecting changes in how individuals and businesses interact with technology? I know we've talked slightly about businesses, but maybe can we be a bit sector specific? Would you be able to give us a sense of, are there certain sectors that have had to change how they interact with technology and how quickly they adapt? And then also, as a add along to that question, are these companies getting the requisite skills, the requisite technology assets locally, or do they have to actually buy them from out of the country?
Okay, for your first question, I think, and I'll refer to some story that I think was in the news there. Of a doctor who was actually trying to introduce the digital healthcare because of what the effects of COVID. Yeah, so you actually noticed that pregnant women could not actually go to hospital, so she decided that it's actually important then to have an application or where the women could actually get to her. Okay. So I think in such scenarios that also assisted in in the healthcare part of it.
Wow.
And also we actually see in the education sector, I think we actually saw that in 2020 where we had some schools actually run classes through Zoom because now they couldn't go back to class because of that. In the financial sector as well, I see a bit, there's what I see most people now trying to plug in or get technology to be able to actually enhance their financial services. So we are actually moving to a space where we will no longer see lots of paperwork. I actually went to one of the banks and I actually could not see any paperwork. Like I was opening an account
bank was this?
And everything, Standard Chartered.
Okay.
And everything was done from my phone. So I just had to download the app and everything was actually fed there. So I think that is where we are moving. And I think technology is one of the things that we really, really need to embrace to be able to move forward.
Oh, fantastic. So here you're talking about education sector. I hear you talking about the financial sector. I hear you also talking about different other sectors that need services provided, especially the medical sector. Are there opportunities that then stand out for you? So is there an opportunity to connect consumers to markets? And are there specific ways that somebody can think about a business opportunity in that space?
In terms of technology or just...
Yes, in terms of technology, because for instance, you've given us the example of learning institutions having to adopt learning management systems, which would probably translate to a business opportunity in the space of, can I create a learning management system for schools and sell it to them? Or when it becomes to digital health, then how do I find a way of connecting the invalid to the hospital without necessarily the physical movement? Are there some cases, some business opportunities that jump out to you when you think about these different spaces? Yeah, so I think for that then we will definitely have opportunities in what we call the Android applications. So because you notice that most of those applications are done on the phone, just like the way you can request for a ride through, you're using Uber or Bolt. So those are applications that people do before getting to that point. So definitely those are opportunities that people could actually take. And the beauty with technology is you can actually teach yourself. Yes. I actually know people who did different courses in campus, but now when they got out, they really loved the idea of technology and whatever, and the solutions it had to offer. And they actually went through the whole process of teaching themselves, and now they're able to actually develop apps and be able to actually sell them. So in those cases, then it is also possible. For the cases of, let's say, schools, you can have actually a system that can be able to manage the entire portfolio. Or the entire platform of how that is done. You can actually have then schools tap in to see whether they can actually get Zoom applications or Skype and all those. And I think for that then there'll be definitely opportunities for people who are interested in doing the coding. I think we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. What questions would you like us to ask Jacqueline on your behalf? See you after the break.